It's official, India has suspended all visas in Canada at this point of time. It's a story first reported by India today, earlier this morning. And now we can now confirm that the Indian government has suspended the granting of all visas and is not accepting any applications for the moment at any of its consulates or the High Commission in Canada. The External Affairs Ministry has confirmed India Today's newsbreak to say that Indian diplomats are constantly being threatened in Canada, that the Indian High Commission's work has been disrupted and therefore visa applications have been halted temporarily until the situation normalizes. People who have visas already obviously can use them, but no fresh applications are currently being accepted. No fresh applications for an Indian visa are currently being accepted in Canada. Very important. India has cited a threat to its own diplomats in Canada and talked about a heightened sense of tension and security in that country at this time.
You are aware of the security threats being faced by our High Commission and consulates in Canada. This has disrupted their normal functioning. Accordingly, our High Commission and consulates are temporarily unable to process visa applications. We will be reviewing the situation on a regular basis. E-visas, yes, e-visas also are on temporary suspension. They also, because they would at some point also involve our functioning of our High Commission or diplomats there. All categories of visas are suspended. Let me explain again. The issue is not about travel to India. The question is not about travel to India. Those who have valid visas, those who have other kind of documents like OCIs are free to travel to India. But the issue is of incitement of violence, the inaction by the Canadian authorities, and a creation of an environment that disrupts the functioning of our High Commission and consulates. That's what's making us stop temporarily this issuance of visas or providing visa services. And as I said, we will be reviewing the situation on a regular basis.
I want to go across to India Today's two reporters who've been tracking all aspects of the big fallout of the India-Canada flashpoint triggered solely and solely by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Gaurav, the External Affairs Ministry confirming India Today's reportage over the last couple of days, confirming visas have been suspended by India in Canada. There is a heightened sense of tension. They've also talked about how nothing has come from the Canadian side to India on the Nijjar case on which Trudeau actually, fired those shots, triggering this entire crisis right now. Your big takeaways from that press conference, Gaurav?
Shiv, three very major takeaways. One, scaling down of mission, bringing parity, not just in terms of numbers, but also in rank. And yes, Canada has a much bigger mission in India than India in Canada. So Canada will have to scale down, and apparently that process of scaling down has already started. Two, Canada's inaction, and this has really upset India. India had repeatedly requested Canada to take action against the threats that were coming the way of Indian High Commissioner in Canada and the consulate generals at various places. Their names, their photographs, their phone numbers, their addresses were being put out in public domain. Posters with their names and phone numbers. A target was being painted on their back. And despite repeated requests, the government in Canada was doing nothing. And this was taken up at every level. At the level of the High Commissioner, at the level of the Ministry of External Affairs, at the level of the foreign ministers, and at the level of the summit, Prime Minister of India and the Prime Minister of Canada. And yet security, adequate security as per Vienna Convention, not provided. They're living in that environment of threat. No action taken against the Khalistani elements, and that's a cause for grave concern. So scaling down of the mission is a very major step that India is now insisting on. Two, the Ministry of External Affairs going on record to say no evidence provided and the allegations are politically motivated. So Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, stands accused of making politically motivated statements for his vote bank politics without sharing any evidence either then, before or even now after so many days, Shiv.
Very, very interesting. And, Abhishek, even though the back channels and the diplomatic machinery, we can expect that they may be trying and dial down these tensions. On the face of it, on the surface of it, India is not, moving 1 inch. In fact, it has escalated things and put the ball right back in Trudeau's court by talking about a heightened sense of tension. And a day after that very, very harsh statement put out by the External Affairs Ministry, this is India basically saying, we've done no wrong, you're the one who's prejudiced, and you need to answer.
Shiv, massive escalation as far as a rebuttal from India is concerned, and very strong words calling Canada a safe haven for terror. I think this kind of an expression for any country used by India is unprecedented. Perhaps in the past, India has gone on record to only call Pakistan a safe haven for terror. I don't remember New Delhi using this expression for any other country. So certainly, this is not going to die down because this is a big statement to make. And in fact, the big message with this statement was that Canada should think about its international reputation. So that's the kind of messaging that is coming from New Delhi. And also the fact that Arindam Bagchi, the spokesperson for MEA, said that there are about 20 to 25 terrorists who India has given information about to Canada, not just recently, but over the last few years. But there has been no response, no action. And calling the Canadian response prejudiced is, again, very strong words. And this is definitely an escalation because there has been a visa suspension as well. Again, that's something that's not happened with any other country. It remains to be seen how Canada is going to respond to this. Because remember, it was Justin Trudeau who first fired the first salvo saying that Indian agencies are involved in that killing. But the rebuttal from India has been extremely strong.